a pretty dramatic story. Like most of the artists, I've been painting since I was a little child. I've always been
Yes.
into art. But when it was time to go to art school, I really didn't feel like I had lived a big life. I come from like a normal background, and I just didn't think I had a lot to say. So I ended up going into advertising as an art director,
Okay.
and had like this very intense, high profile job where basically I was like married to my job. That's all I did was work. And on a trip to Chile doing a film shoot, I was in an 8.8 earthquake, and I didn't know if I was going to live or die.
Oh boy.
So very quickly, it doesn't take long to realize what really matters to you in life. And I kind of
Yes.
at the time thought, you know, I've really screwed up. If this is it for me, I have screwed up, because I always thought I would have more time, and I never even tried to be a full-time artist. Like I just always put it off to the side, and I thought, oh, one day, one day, one day. And it was basically like, no, I don't want to die with all this music in me. So I came home and changed my life, quit my job, and became a freelancer. And just over the years, have embraced the full-time art more and more and more. And it's, on this bit of momentum now, which is great. And
Very good.
the pieces
Well,
that, sorry, go ahead.
yes, no, I was going to say, tell us about the pieces you submitted for
Oh
the
yeah.
show.
So because I was, I lived this life where I was kind of always in my head and sort of divorced from my body, I was never really present. So my work is all about becoming more present in the moment through your five senses. So the pieces I submitted are on they're on albums, like reclaimed albums. And I just basically, this is an abstract series, obviously, that is kind of like the overhead view of islands from an airplane.
Okay.
I'm from the same place as you, Jennylynd. I'm
Yes,
from
yes, you're from
Trinidad.
Trinidad and Tobago. Woo, Trini.
Yeah. So a lot of what I do, even my more abstract work, always kind of
Yes.
looks like a place. And so I did it on albums, because I want people to remember their five senses. I want them to remember, like, what did it sound like when I was in this magical place? What did it smell like, taste like? What was the air
Yes.
like on my skin? So it was just like another sly way to help people tune into more than just what they're looking at through my
Yes.
art. So that's why I chose these pieces. I have a bunch on the wall behind me as well.
Thank you. And then what about 2021? Anything you have planned for yourself?
Yeah, it's sort of like a lot of us are have a lot of similar inspiration, it seems, because
Yes.
I too take a lot of my inspiration from travel. But I think very similar to Jessica, it's really funny because our work overlaps a lot. And I've been finding inspiration in daily walks and very, very small overlooked things like weeds. I find this is work in progress. It's just completely experimental, but I've been finding like weeds and leaves and stuff like that, and almost using them as collage pieces and putting them in my
Yes.
work. And who knows where it'll go, but finding inspiration in the everyday small things that are right around the corner, and
Yes.
we'll see what happens.
Wonderful. So, does anyone in the audience have a question for our artists that we've interviewed so far? We'll take a little pause now for questions. Anybody? Anybody wants to ask an artist a question? Don't rush too much, you know. Oh, yes, silence. All right. Well, we'll continue since we don't have um, any questions, but you can think of something to ask. And at the end, we'll
Jennylynd, I have a question for Nadine.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. So are you specific on what albums you're choosing that you're painting over? Is there some kind of subtext there?
I try to be when I can find them, but basically I just go to like a used store. They're always reclaimed because I don't want to paint on something wonderful or like a classic album that is still good. So they're all like scratched up and discarded.
You don't have any hidden messages with the song?
Yeah, I try to actually like the one that I've got one on the wall that's it's kind of a memory of looking out of a train when I was in Lisbon. And at the world sort of flying by. Yeah. And it's on a Portuguese album. So I was able to find you know, Portuguese, like an old scratched up abandoned Portuguese album.
And how do you hang them on the wall?
It's actually this great little, they're adhesive.
Awesome.
And so
Cool.
you don't have to frame them. It's really handy. And these are just little adhesive things. And you know, it's kind of like the little sawtooth. So you can put, you can
fantastic.
put
That's
a
fantastic.
nail in the wall and just hang it, or a screw or something like that. It's really simple. And, or I've actually had some clients who want to go a little fancier and they can frame them and it doesn't really get in the way of that either.
Yeah.
Thanks for
That's
asking.
cool. Awesome. Great idea.
Mhm.
Great idea.
Wonderful. And so for everyone in the audience, remember you can see all the artwork at lesliegrovegallerystore.ca. lesliegrovegallerystore.ca. And remember, we're offering a 15% discount if you enter the discount code 15 BHSS 2020. So big holiday. Small
Yeah, and I just want to add that discount is only good for the next 4 days. Okay, so
4 days. So
not
you have to
indefinite.
rush.
Yeah.
Okay, the show ends January 10th, but the discount is good for the next 4 days. So please remember. Now, Nicola Woods. Nicola, are you here?
Hi there. Yes, I'm here.
Hello,
Hi, everybody.
Nicola. I think
Thanks.
you're a bit sideways. Nicola, do you want to turn your camera?
Well, oh dear, I set it up that way to so you can see better. But okay, I'll go like this.
Lovely. Now we
Great.
see you.
Good. Thanks. Oh, you know what though? Yeah, that's good. All right. So thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. So Nicola, please tell us a little bit about your journey as an artist.
Certainly, yes. So it's funny, everybody's saying the same thing. I started as an artist probably from the age of 2 when I first got a paintbrush. My mom and dad, encouraged me to paint. I got a camera at the age of 8 or 9. So even though I still love drawing and painting, photography is my main mode of expression. And then the other thing, more recently in the last few years, I've really been focusing on trees because I got a dog and I just ended up going out on the streets more and started to notice the neighborhood trees and started photographing them, and then actually getting more into tree advocacy. So I actually work with a tree advocacy group and have done some work in that area as well, helping out the street trees that need lots of help in the summertime. So yeah, trees really inspire me. They could be wild trees or urban trees. And the other thing I do is I combine my work with metal leaf. So it's like photography with a sort of shimmery background that looks a bit like a daguerreotype. Yeah, so.
And please tell us a bit about the work that you submitted for the show.
Certainly, yeah. So I just can give you a little sense. So I chose from my tree flower series, and I was really thinking about, again, people were just mentioning about the situation we're in right now. People are pretty anxious, maybe some worries. And what I wanted to do was offer the beautiful, refreshing energy of spring blossoms into people's homes. So they're all tree flowers, and I do have an example here. I don't know if it's, so this is like cherry blossoms. You may not be able to see the shimmer so much, but I was just trying to counterbalance some of the kind of like dark, gloomy feelings that people are having right now with some beautiful spring blossoms.
Wonderful. And any plans for 2021? What work do you think you might do?
Yeah, so I've had much more time than I ever expected to focus on my artwork. So there's a couple of things. I'm going to keep photographing the street trees. I've always been interested in the trees around me. I would love to get out of town and do more tree photography outside the city. But I'm also learning more techniques to do with metal leaf. Like I've been learning gilding. So that will be a focus, and exploring some new techniques that will allow me to increase the scale of my work. So really looking forward to that.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
About your work.
Thank you.
So next we have Robert Quantz. Robert, are you here? Robert?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, there you are.
Okay, sorry about that. I was looking for the
okay.
mute button.
Yeah, so Robert, thanks so much for joining us this evening, and tell us a little bit about your journey as an artist.
Well, I've been making art ever since I can remember. I'm self-taught. I've never taken an art course. I've shown throughout the city and in the States as well. I do a lot of experimental work with photo-based images, printmaking, painting. I work in a really chaotic sort of way. I don't do a lot of planning. I just kind of let whatever happens happen. I'm happy when there's accidents. You know, if my cat knocks my coffee cup over on the painting, well, it will probably stay like that. And
That's art.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And what have you submitted for this show?
Well,
Please,
I've been working on imaginary. Again, I'm using reclaimed albums as well. It seems to be a bit of a theme.
Okay, like Nadine. Okay.
Yeah, like I'm using the covers of albums,
Oh, the
and
covers, yes.
I'm creating sort of imaginary type of album covers. In this case, I did a series of jazz albums.
Yes.
I love jazz from the 50s and 60s, especially the album covers. I think are great. I use a lot of original materials, all original materials from that time period, and I wanted to create sort of a sense of movement and energy in the work. So I'll show them to you. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one.
Wonderful.
And this one here. Yeah.
So mixed media.
Yes. Yeah, and
Oh.
I love using original materials when possible.
Yes.
I think there's just something about it. I think it really adds to the work, and I don't know if anybody believes in that materials hold a certain sort of history or energy to them, but I kind of do. Yeah, I kind of do believe that. So I try to use original when possible.
Wonderful. And will you continue with a jazz theme in 2021?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm going to get into a lot of different type of themes. In the new year as well. I've never collaborated with anybody before, and I'm thinking I have so many friends who are, you know, filmmakers and writers and artists and musicians that I'd like to maybe try and collaborate on something and see what we come up with in the new year.
Okay, well, thank you so much for your presentation. Much appreciated. I do a lot of jazz paintings too. This is just one line behind me. I love the jazz theme, so I appreciate your work a lot.
And it's nice to see everyone without their masks on as well.
Oh my. Okay, so now we have Susan Friedman. Hello, Susan.
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
Fine, thank you. So Susan, tell us a bit about your art journey.
Okay, well, I could relate to a lot of what everyone said, but unlike the others, I actually didn't start from a very young age. I was working in the health sciences, and in 2006, I went to Halliburton and took an art course with my sister, and it was absolutely life-changing. It just allowed me to start seeing the world in an entirely different way. I was inspired by everything, and I've never looked back. So I just started taking some courses, working on my own. And then 2.5 years ago, I retired. So I've been doing art full-time since then and just loving it. So I'm exploring all kinds of media, working mixed media now, but work everything from acrylic, oils, collage work, and which brings me, I'm actually going to switch the view of my camera so you can actually get a look at the pieces that I have in the show. Can you see those there?
Yes.
All righty. So basically, this is my gallery series. So it's my current, it's a good example of my current work, which is developing collages from all kinds of images and media, and then adding in a figure. And the figures are often from real life, but actually these are all from travel. So again, I was relating to what everyone else was saying about travel and the importance of that. And when I travel, I seek out galleries wherever I go because I love art and that's what I do. So what I've done here is incorporate the figures into the collages, trying to maintain the background as well. So for instance, in the first one, it wasn't a formal gallery, but this is the calico tiles of the Porto train station in Portugal. And these figures are, so they're very integrated with the backgrounds. And I have in Awe of Art, which is based on a photograph of my sister-in-law when we were in Oaxaca, in this stunning gallery, light pouring in on these huge, gorgeous abstract paintings, and it was absolutely awesome. And then I have Inspired by Art, and that's actually based on a picture of me in a Lisbon gallery. And again, it just speaks to that, having the figure and the background with some of the same imagery just represents how I immerse myself in art, and that interactive nature between the viewer and what's being viewed in art, and how we're affected by art no matter what. We are inspired by it, we can be provoked by it. And in fact, the last one is sort of testament to that. This was a photo gallery in Oaxaca that was quite a provocative photography show. It was amazing. And on the way out, there was this fellow just sort of against that door, and it was a wonderful photo. And I just knew one day I'd want to make some type of art with it. And so it worked with this series, and it's Time to Ponder. And it's a bit different than the others in that the figure does not totally incorporate the ground, but it works with the theme and that whole idea of the interaction between us and the art we view and how we're affected by it.
Oh,
So
very interesting.
yeah, so
Yes,
that's
and in 2021, any special theme you hope to work on?
yeah, I'm wanting to continue working with collage, doing larger works, incorporating figures, but I've also been getting back into doing more abstract work. So just exploring. And I love what Robert said about collaborating, because that's somewhere I'd really like to go as well. And I'm in the process of talking with a wonderful photographer about doing some collaboration. So I'm really excited about that.
Right,
And just exploring.
Yes, thank you so much, Susan. For your
Hey, you're welcome.
presentation.
Thank you.
And now, Whitney McKay. So
Hi
I
there.
saw Whitney earlier. Hello, Whitney. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Tell us a little bit about your journey as an artist.
So my journey as an artist just kind of recently began in 2018. I had my first daughter, and I had major postpartum depression and anxiety, and I needed some sort of escape and outlet.
Yeah.
And my husband suggested to me painting, because he knew I liked to kind of do that before. So I started to paint, and I became just obsessed. Like, it's like my passion. I always want to do it. It really like lightens my spirits, and I'm in love with all of it.
Excellent. And so what is the work that you are showing in the Big Holiday Small Show?
So I'm showing this piece right here. It's called Visiting You. It's acrylic on canvas.
Yes.
And I created this piece. Cardinals, they tend to represent like if like a loved one that's kind of missing shows up, like a cardinal shows up, it's like visiting you or like protecting you. And around Christmas time, I always like to remember all those people that are close to me that aren't with me or have passed away. And so I just created this piece. I like to have those memories with me to kind of, give me comfort and have that sort of feelings with me.
Wonderful. So as you continue painting in 2021, is there anything you hope you can get started on? Any special images or?
Yeah, so I have my first ever collection that I'm releasing in January. So I'm really excited about that. It's just all things snow and trees, because everyone's feeling the trees right now as we kind of observe nature. So that's what I'll be working on.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Whitney.
Thank you.
And good luck as you continue on your art journey. I started painting in 2009, so I'm relatively new and self-taught. So I appreciate all of those who mentioned, that they started later on in life. And for me, it was quite by accident. I did a class because, like Whitney, I was a bit sad and I had to go and find an outlet, and a friend suggested, go do an art class. And so I did. And the artist who was running the class said, you actually have talent. And I thought, me, I'm a scientist, but I do enjoy it. And, the passion just comes into the work. It's a great release, great for relaxing, and also as an artist, you know, you get a chance to explore your creativity fully.
Mhm.
So now let us go on to Zhao Wen Zhu. I hope I
Hi,
pronounced
everyone.
that okay. Hello, is that correct, Zhao?
Yes, Xiaowen.
Okay, Zhao Wen, thank you
Yes.
so much for joining us this evening. So tell us a little bit about your journey as an artist.
Well, I created my first painting when I was 3 years old
Oh,
of
okay.
2 peacocks on a date. And since then, I have been creating art on and off. And I completed my Master of Architecture in 2018. And since then, I have been working at an architecture firm and painting in my free time, and also participating in juried art exhibitions.
Oh, excellent.
And yeah, that's it.
So tell us about the work that you submitted for this show.
Okay, so this is one of the pieces I have in the show. And I selected this piece along with another piece to participate in the show because they reflect kind of my current investigations. And this series is called Shaped by the Grain. And how I create it is I look for a piece of birch panel that I find that has like interesting wood grains.
Yes.
And I block the shapes with acrylic paint first, following the contours of the wood grain. And then for this piece, I use acrylic paint markers to draw the lines as well. They're white, not sure if you can see that.
Yes.
And it's kind of exploring like the juxtaposition between the organic forms of the wood grains with the straight lines. And the other piece here is called Mother and Child, and it's done using acrylic paint, ink, and colored pencils. So these lines here are done in colored pencils, and I would use the lighter color first, and then I go on top with a darker color. So I've been trying to explore using mixed media to create my artwork.
Excellent. And any plans for 2021?
Yes,
your
I have
artwork?
a few. Yes, I have a few commissions lined up for
Oh,
in the new year, and I will. I'm looking forward to creating some large paintings, perhaps abstract, for my living room. My husband and I recently moved into our current place, so I'm looking to do some decorating with my
decorating.
artwork.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jawen. And that brings us to the end of our list of artists for interviews. Does anyone have any questions for the artists or comments? Anybody? Does anyone have a glass to toast for the holiday season? Toast with your coffee or whatever. I'm not a drinker, but I have, like 1 ounce of wine just to toast. Yes, happy holidays, everybody. And do tell all your friends to visit the Leslie Grove gallerystore.ca, where they can purchase your art. Spread the news on social media so everybody comes to the website. Don't forget, if you renew your membership by December 31st, your name goes into the draw and you can get free membership. Okay? So, does anyone else have anything you want to say before we sign off? Anybody? Well, enjoy your holidays and best wishes for 2021. Thank you
Thanks,
so much for
Jennylynd.
joining us.
Thank you for being
Thank
a
you,
great
Thank you.
host.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yeah, this was really great. It was fantastic hearing everybody else's stories, and I thought that was a really nice way to handle the opening. So thank you all for all of your efforts.
Yeah, it was lovely to
Yes,
see
thank you.
everyone's work too.
Yeah.
Really lovely.
Piece
Thank
of
you.
Christmas cake.
Yeah.
Thank you,
It
everybody.
has a lot of rum in it too.
I was gonna say, hey, is that rum cake?
Rum cake, yes, with fruit. That's a Trinidad. Is Nadine?
Oh,
still
so
on?
it's like a real Christmas cake. Oh my goodness, you're
That's,
making me
Nadine, you're
homesick.
there. I made rum cake.
You did.
Sounds amazing.
Lots of fruit, prunes and sultanas and raisins and everything.
A friend of
Kate,
mine, her mom used to make rum cake, and I swear you get drunk on it at the end of the night.
Oh, we as kids, we totally did helping. And I would say it's probably the only like Christmas fruitcake that no one ever regifts. Like it gets consumed no matter what. It's great.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
thank
I
you
didn't-
everybody
I didn't
for all your.
mine too much. I didn't put any port. My mom used to put port and
Yeah.
rum. I
Right.
just put rum.
Yeah,
So wish I could share it through the
I know.
through the Zoom
Yeah.
chat, but
too.
unfortunately, no. Anyway,
How's everyone doing during the second wave?
well, happy holidays, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye bye.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye. Have a
Cheers,
lovely holiday,
everyone.
everyone. Take care.
Take care.
Bye.
Happy holidays.
Bye. Happy holidays.
So I guess I should maybe stop the Facebook. Stop the live stream, right, for Facebook? Oh, I should stop the live stream for Facebook, right? Yeah.